Let's go and welcome into another edition of the Sports Cubicle here on WCPT 820 AM and HeartlandSignal.com, WSBC 1240 AM Chicago, and on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. We are in the basement in the cross space of the studios live here in Chicago. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, joined with the one and only Dan Marver, of course, Paul Chivari, and Devin Tingle. And Marvelous, we have a very jam-packed edition of this show. We are going to be talking to our friend from Cubs on Tap, Cubby's Crib, and Heartland Signal, Rich Eberwine, to break everything down and put to rest the 2025 Chicago Cubs. But before we get to all that, there is games being played at the United Center that matter for the Chicago Blackhawks, and following suits are your 2025-2026 Chicago Bulls. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this team that, while things may have changed, they seem to stay the same. This is from Yahoo Sports. Chicago Bulls 2025-26 season preview. Josh Giddey, unclear goals, and the worst case scenario by Dan Devine. And just for reference points, remember the 2024-25 Chicago Bulls finished 39-43, ninth in the East, eliminated in the play-in tournament. They were 20th in the offensive rating side, and defensive rating side, they were 19th. The biggest moves this offseason: Isaac Okoro, Noah Isingay, Yuki Kawamura, and of course Albrecht. And they lost, though, to counter that, Lonzo Ball, Taylor Horton-Tucker, E.J. Little, and Young. So this is the question in the article I wanted to get to. The big question: how do you build a contender around Josh Giddey? The Bulls answered the big question of their offseason by agreeing to terms on a 4-year, $100 million extension for restricted free agent Josh Giddey. A deal that, in context of the current state of the play in the NBA, probably generates more sticker shock than financial stickiness. A $100 million total and $25 million average annual value marked the 35th richest deal of any guard in the NBA. And while many NBA contracts start with a lower first-year salary and future built-in year-over-year increases, Giddey's extension will reportedly pay him a flat $25 million per year, meaning that as his salary cap raises, he'll account for a smaller percentage of the Bulls' total balance sheet. In the final year of the deal, in 2028-29, Giddey is projected to take up less than 14% of the Chicago's cap's figure. All of which is to say, it's not a contract that should preclude the Bulls from constructing a competitive team. It's a deal you can build around. And check out the entire article over at Yahoo Sports. Chicago Bulls 2025-26 season preview. Josh Giddey, unclear goals, and the worst case scenario is a very fascinating article. But I wanted to go down that very specific road. Is, to me, and I think you agree with this, the team really is hindered or will succeed and flourish on the development of Matas Buzelis. Like, that is the key player on this team, that if he's the ace, if he is an all-star, a all-NBA, whether it's first, second, or third team, then your team is going to be competitive. And then it's up to Mark Eversley, it's up to Arturas Kanishevas to be creative, to be aggressive, and to find a disgruntled star somewhere else over the next few years, if that is what the outcome is. But right now, just looking at this team, Josh Giddey's contract is, I think, pretty okay for the Bulls' standards over the next few years. That doesn't give me confidence that they're going to get anywhere further than the 9th or 8th or 7th seed. But that being said, it does feel, for the first time in this regime, post Lonzo's injury, when they brought in DeMar and they had Levine and Vucevic, this seems like the first time they have an idea of the road they want to go down. That they have an idea, a concept of a plan. Whether it works out or it's a good one, time will tell. But I think for the first time in a few years, it actually feels like they're trying to build an identity. What do you think? What are your emotions, Marvelous? As we talked a lot about them last year, we saw the ups and downs, a lot of excitement, a lot of different games where we had different emotions about the 24-25 Bulls. But now that Giddey has gotten paid, we've seen Matas develop, we've seen what their draft picks were. What are your feelings about heading into this NBA season for the 25-26 Bulls?
Well, I think the key is the next paragraph of your article, which brings the Bulls to the next existential question: what should a team built around a 6'8" point forward even look like? and would be capable of meaningful contention. The points are probably going to be going largely to Kobe. I mean, in terms of the points in the game, Kobe White. I mean, he had 20.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, 8.3 assists, and 14 steals, and 33.3 minutes per game over the final 2+ months of the season. So he's your points guy. He was, he had 50, 46, 80 shooting splits, scoring more efficiently in a higher volume of 3-point shots and free throw attempts while increasing the assist rate and coughing up the ball less frequently. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is they do have the 6'9" rookie Noah Essengu, and he'll get some time, but I don't think he's going to start. But they could really use at least one or two members of one of the league's least notable wing groups, Patrick Williams, Dalen Terry, and Julian Phillips, to take a serious step away from anonymity. So obviously, you're looking at Zealous. He got 13 points and .586 shooting to go with 4.5 rebounds, 1.9 assists, and 1.1 blocks in 26.8 minutes. So he's going to have a lot of minutes along with White. It's just a question of what else they can put on the floor in terms of to compete, because this is a team that looks like playing material once again. So that to me, that's the best case scenario. I mean, they're not going to compete with teams like the Celtics, obviously, and Giddey and White are going to be potential all-stars, we hope, and the highlight of the year might be honoring Derrick Rose, actually.
And okay, I kind of want to take it to that direction. We're going to have obviously all of the rest of fall and winter to talk about this team as we have such a busy episode coming up. But this is where I land on where this Bulls in 25-26, my emotions, my analytical, and my meatball brain goes to. I want you to be competitive. I want you to be in as many games as possible. I would like for you to be a playoff team. I don't think that a strategy is hoping. So unless your goal is to completely tank, then if you want to be a winner, be a winner. Nobody's saying you're going to win the NBA Finals. You're not going to compete out of the wild card or maybe the first round if you're lucky. But be in a position when somebody like Anthony Edwards is ready to move on from Minnesota. That is going to be the difference of your organization going one way or the other. You have already established somewhat of a core, somewhat of a nice little core. It's, again, nothing that's going to blow you away, but the potential of adding a true top 10 superstar onto this roster all of a sudden elevates everybody else. And that is what you have to do right now. That is the road you have to be on. And it finally seems that they might be heading that way, especially the way they're negotiating and structuring these contracts. This is your one opportunity as this front office, with the ownership you currently have and this roster, to put yourself in that position. Do it. Be aggressive. It's about time, because we've seen what passiveness looks like, and it hasn't worked. So this is an opportunity right now to do that, to change your fortunes. So have your team develop. Billy Donovan develops players. He's great with young players. This is the time to put it all together. And it's not about the 25-26 Bulls. This is about the 27-28 Bulls. This is about years down the road and where it all started. And it could start right now. Marver, any final thoughts as we get ready for tip-off of the NBA season and the Madhouse on Madison starts to really a rocking with the two teams on the west side?
No, I think that, again, obviously everybody's goal is to win a championship, but we have to focus on they're trying to focus on their growth, at the moment is the buzz line. So they're not, Arturis says we're going to focus on winning every game without putting any goals on the team besides just getting better and growing together. Well, that's kind of like, doesn't even sound that aggressive or impressive to me. So I don't know. They want to get better. Okay, well, everybody wants to get better, but I don't think that they've reached the peak of the league, and obviously, they're not going to with this team. It would have been nice to have gotten some splash in the free agency market or something that would have really gotten them to another level, but they didn't. And so once again, we're going to be middling in the middle.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that in itself is kind of the known, right? Is you are going to be somewhere in the middle of the pack. It's what does the trajectory look like for your future that you have control in right now, or at the very least, you could put yourself in the best spot to have the best kind of future. Marver, this was a lot of fun, but we got Rich ready to talk Chicago Cubs baseball. So why don't we wrap things up as people get ready to hunker down this winter and enjoy some Bulls basketball, hopefully some winning Bulls basketball. We have a jam-packed edition on this edition of the Sports Cubicle here on WCPT 820 AM, heartlandsignal.com, and on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us over there if you want to see the video version of the show on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. He's the marvelous one, Dan Marver. I'm Mike Mercado. You're tuned in to the Sports Cubicle.